just started recording this, so I'm going to say all of that again. Just ignore it if you'd want to. So we have one large rectangle. We have it broken down into 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the right side, we labeled it. So we have value scale, 4B because we're using a 4B pencil, and we are going to be using shading to add our value. So now we're going to start drawing. I'm going to teach you how I want you to hold your pencil, what works the best when we're shading. So you hold it between 2 fingers, like this, like you're pinching it. And then you wrap the rest of your fingers around it. So this is the lead, this is the graphite. You pinch, and then you wrap your fingers around it. This gives you the most control over your pencil. This will make it the easiest for you to draw. So you're going to flip your hand so that you're pinching up at the top, your hands are wrapped around the bottom. And we are going to fill in one of these squares. So the 1 on our value scale is going to be very light. The 2 is going to be a little bit darker, 3 darker than that, and 4 is going to be the darkest we can go. So below it, I want you to just practice drawing with this first, so you can see what it feels like holding your pencil like this. So again, you do this by pinching your pencil and wrapping your fingers around it.
Very, very weird. I'm really not used to this.
So we are going to be adding value to these rectangles. 4 is going to be the darkest, 1 is going to be the lightest. So we're going to do the 4 first. You're going to shade in this rectangle using very heavy pressure. You're going to press down really hard with your pencil, but not hard enough that it breaks through the page. This is going to be our darkest value.
Very strange because when you do it, the parts closer to where your fingers are seem to be a little bit lighter.
So you're filling in the entire rectangle using very heavy pressure, which means you're pressing down really hard on your paper.
I think I did about right. It looks like 4 different ones. I'm really bad at this. But
We aren't bad, we're learning. After you have the heaviest one, your 4 completed, I want you to work on 3. This will still be heavy pressure, but it is not going to be nearly as heavy. So you aren't going to press down as hard as you were for number 4. It works best to fill in the entire rectangle with like a medium pressure, which means you're not pressing down very hard and not pressing down very light. And then if it looks too light, you can always just add another layer on top. Once you finish number 3, you're going to do number 2. This is where it starts to get really light. So you're going to use a medium pressure with this one. So you're not going to press down as hard as you did for the third one, but you are not going to be barely touching the paper quite yet. From what I can see, it looks like you guys are getting it down pretty well. So the last one is when your pencil is barely touching the paper. And it will look the lightest. After you're done with that, what's up?
Mac Johnson's having tech issues, by the way. He just texted me. I haven't looked at my phone.
Yeah, he sent me an email. Thank you for letting me know. So after you're done with their 4B pencil, I want you to find your, your thin Sharpie.
Wait, did your phone just stop working a second?
Yep.
Okay, I was like, why did it just freeze?
Okay, so you're going to make a rectangle. Oh, that looks better. Cool. Gonna make a rectangle with your thin Sharpie, the smallest one that I gave you. And this one doesn't need to be as thick. It's going to take us longer to fill this one in. So it can be about the size of your eraser in height, but it needs to be the same width, the same length as the other one. We're going to do the same thing like we did with our first one. Separate it in half, and then separate those in half, and label it 1, 2, 3, 4. On the side, we don't need to put value scale, but I want you to put thin Sharpie and hatching, like a bird hatches out of an egg. So skinny rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, title it thin Sharpie and hatching. So like before, we are going to test out on below our rectangle. So hatching is tiny little lines all going in the same direction, except they are not up and down. They are angled. So they are slanted and they are just lines all going in the same direction.
It's usually used in some types of designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way that we make value by using hatching is by the amount of lines that we have. So in 1, our lines are going to be very far apart. And they're little lines all going in the same direction. In 2, we are going to have lines going in the same direction, but they are going to be closer together. 3, they're going to be even closer together than before.
It's hard to keep consistent sometimes,
Mhm.
especially when I did not draw this rectangle perfectly.
That's perfectly fine. We're all learning.
Well, I actually did decently well. Went very far, closer, closer, closer.
Mhm. And in 4, they're going to be the closest together, where your lines are almost going to be touching, but not really. There's going to be a tiny bit of space,
Sometimes mine touch.
and that's fine too.
Wait, what? You have pizza? Can I have some?
Darian, your mic is on.
Oh,
You shouldn't be eating during class. We're doing art. You can kind of see they are all going in the same direction, but it doesn't look like it through the camera, which was unfortunate. After you're done with that, see how much longer do we have? Okay, I want you to find a colored pencil. This can be any color pencil that you want. Just
maybe
pick
two
one.
color pencils? Like two
One.
different colors you want to do?
One. You'll get to use all of them eventually, but right now we're just using one.
Because I
You're
have
going,
two different colors, dark blue and then red.
just one. You're going to make the same size rectangle as before. We're going to cut it in half, and then again. We are going to label this one colored pencil and cross hatching. Okay, maybe you can use two. Maybe one can be done in one color pencil. You can add your marks in a different color so they don't blend.
What are we using? I mean, like, for
Oh, Darian, someone's trying to ask me a question. So you're using color pencil. You're going to draw your rectangle in one color, and you're going to add your marks with the other color. We're going to have 4 different rectangles just like before. And this one is going to be titled Color Pencil Cross Hatching.
I meant something like you do like one color and then the next color, and you go like for 2 and 4 you do one color, and then the 1 and 3 you do one color.
I want it all to be the same. So cross hatching is like hatching, except we're going to be making little X's. So you make a cross hatching by doing lines, diagonal lines going in one direction. Someone else's mic is on, please. Turn it off. And you're going to be doing diagonal lines in the other direction. So it looks something like that. That is cross hatching. For one, kind of like with hatching, our lines are going to be far apart from one another.
Can you show it again? I didn't see the right camera. Okay, thanks.
So you're going to make your lines going diagonally in one way, and then you're going to switch and you're going to do them the other way. And one, they're going to be very far apart. And two, they're going to be closer together than before. Three, even closer, and 4, the closest.